Question 13a. The diagram below shows a sketch of the graph of f dashed x, so that's the gradient graph for the interval x1 to x5. Question A says find the interval on which f of x is both decreasing and convex. Okay, so you're not looking at this actual graph that you've got here and thinking, where is that graph decreasing and convex? You're looking at what this graph tells you about the function itself. This is the gradient of the function being plotted, okay, which is trickier. So if I kind of tried to draw what I thought the f of x graph would look like, I don't know its heights, but I know what its gradient's doing. Okay, let's try and keep it sort of in line with these points we've got here. Okay, so to start with, my gradient graph is quite high. This section between x1 and x2, the gradient is corresponding to a positive gradient, so we're sloping upwards. Okay, and in this upward sloping bit of my graph, the gradient is decreasing to 0, so we're becoming less positive and we get a 0 gradient. Okay, so where my gradient graph goes through here at height 0 tells me that my actual graph is at height, I don't know what height it's at, but I know its gradient is 0. After that, my gradient becomes negative. Okay, this part all the way to 0 to the origin, the f of x heights are below the axis, so that corresponds to the gradient being negative. So we're sloping downwards. Okay, this is the biggest negative you get to, so that is going to be the steepest part of the curve you've got here. Okay, so you're going steeper there, and then you're going to get less steep after that. When you get back to O, your gradient is now again at 0 height, so your gradient is flat again. So your original graph, your f of x graph, will then have another place where the gradient is 0. After the origin, between the origin and x4, your gradient is now positive again, because it's in this part of the graph between 0 and x5, it's above the x-axis, so your gradient is positive. This is the highest point, so this is where your gradient is the steepest positive. So you're going to have an upward sloping, you're going your steepest at x4, and then you're going to start to become less steep, but still positive. Here again, it looks like we've got another place where the gradient is 0, so another max maybe. Okay, so interpreting the gradient graph to the actual graph gives us this. So now we can say, where is f of x decreasing? Well, it's decreasing from here to here. Okay, that's where it's decreasing. Okay, corresponding to this bit here. Okay, where is it convex? Well, remember that that way is concave, like a cave shape, an N shape, and that way is convex. Okay, the other way is convex. So we have a section here where it's convex. Okay, so concave there, and then from x3 to 0, or to the origin, we've got a decreasing but convex. Okay, or you can see from this, it's decreasing here all the way around this bottom part, but here it is starting to slope back up again. Okay, so your gradient is going from steep negative to 0. Okay, so it's this slackening off of the gradient. Okay, so our interval is from x3 to O.